Hello, 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 everyone. It's Thursday evening, and that can mean only one thing. You are here this evening to watch this week's online oval racing, and this week it is round 10, brought to you from a virtual Buxton. So, you join us on this Thursday evening once again. And as I just said, we are coming to you live from a virtual Buxton this week. And of course, you know the voices oh so well over the past 10 weeks. In the virtual commentary booth with me this evening, I have Mr. Don Brock and, of course, Sarah Austin. Hello, hello.
Waiting for Sarah to come in. We're both too polite for each other's own good at this rate.
Well, your name was first, Dom, so I thought I'd do the polite thing there.
Ah.
Yes, good evening, everybody. Virtual Buxton. The last time I saw this track, I was 34 weeks pregnant and spent about 5 or 6 hours in the car each way, so I'm glad I'm sitting in a nice comfy chair at home tonight.
As opposed to me, who's never been to this track, but has seen plenty of action from it over the years in video format. Looking forward to seeing how the drivers get on this evening. It's one of the longer circuits, and all from discussions we've had, it sounds like it's one of the more narrow circuits as well. So a potentially tight evening of racing ahead of us.
I'm glad that's what you came out with, because I was genuinely expecting you to turn around to say, as opposed to me, who's never been 34 weeks pregnant. But
Yeah, my head was that one as well, Gav, definitely.
I'm glad
Yeah, I can confirm it is a very tight track. When I was up there, I was watching my husband Jay in a Rebel, and I believe one of our drivers was also racing in that race, and they had a massive, massive pilot on the first lap. Jay's mum is a very, very brave lady and can deal with most things, including bringing up 3 boys. And she burst into tears and ran away and didn't come back and watch any more of the meeting. So, yeah, it's definitely an interesting, exciting track.
Something to keep us entertained throughout the evening then, with a little bit of luck. So, it's all my fault that we're running a little bit late this evening, guys. I've been out working today, so I was a little bit late to the commentary box. I apologise for that. And as I know, Jay is cracking on with getting the drivers all prepped for the first heat, I suppose I should probably head over to the grids, and I will hand over to you both so that you can do your thing that you do oh so well.
Righty-ho. So, first heat of the night, we're running 5 this evening, much like we have for the past 2 weeks, and a few less numbers as well, but I think this grid that we've got set up, it should be mostly right. We've had a few technical difficulties this evening. On the pole for the first heat of tonight, we have Martin Menchie's in the 91 car. Following him, we've got Danny Van Rooyen, and then Lucas Hopster in the 24 car.
Oh, I'm hoping I've got the right grids in front of me. I've been given them by my husband, and I haven't got one of the drivers you've just mentioned, so fingers crossed the rest of it goes okay. So, the yellows, we then have Johan 148, followed by Scotty 78, Ben Keneally in 210, followed by Jordan Vovinkel 122.
For the blue graders, we have Alan, I believe that's Alan Christie, just looking at the lists. Fawkes 46 follows him, and then Ted McGrath rounds out the blues.
Then the reds, we have Barry Casey 961, followed by Craig Durrant, and then finally for the red graders, Simon 998.
And finally, we've got the superstar graders. We've got Turner 447, Adam Turner, Ricky Slater in the 102 car, Adam Cochran following him, and the man who could potentially wrap up the title this evening, starting at the back, Niall McFerrin.
So, I mean, We might as well go for the question that we normally do. I can see the cars all starting to sort themselves out and get into position grid-wise. So we've got a little bit of time this evening where we can actually talk for a change about who you fancy as your movers and shakers for the first heat of the evening.
Well, just looking through the grids, Gav, there's got to be the obvious favourite, the man who it is his mission tonight to take home the title with a round to spare, Noel McFerrin. Although he's from the back of the grid, we all know how fast he is. I would put my pennies on him tonight in this first heat, considering his recent form as well.
Yeah, good shout for that one, Dom. I'm also going to say Adam Cochrane. I know they're both right at the back of the superstars, but he had a good week last week. So, with some fairly good solid results. And somebody else who seems to do not necessarily a front runner as such, but always there or thereabouts. You have to say Alan Christie, and he's starting front of the Blues. So, got to give him a pretty good shout as well.
I'm going to go for another blue grader. Who's been a little bit off form of late, but we'll have to wait and see what he can do tonight. I'm going to go with Charlie Alwood.
Ooh, wow. I wonder who will be the front runner out of us three then come the end of Heat 1. Big shout out to everyone on Facebook. 43 viewers already. Thank you for all your support over these last few weeks. I know from time to time we have had a few issues, but we do try and bring things to you. We are all volunteers. We do all work for a living. So many thanks for sticking with us, and thank you for all your shout outs, for all your riders. Oh, I'm not allowed to say riders, am I? I'm going to say riders anyway. And all your support. We do appreciate it. Keep those messages coming in, folks.
So, the cameras at Buxton aren't fantastic for what you can see on track. Well, they're all right actually. There's a few of them where there's some unsightly people who get in the way a little bit. But let's hop on over to the main screen so that you guys.
How dare you be so rude about the spectators, Gavin?
Well, I mean, I suppose they do look like they're social distancing, which is always a bonus. There is that side to it. Now, the one thing, I don't know whether or not you're going to be able to, I don't think the guys can actually see it on this, but one thing that I have just noticed is that them underway?
Yeah, that is. Yeah, they're off. They are off. They were ready and they were winding at the finger for us. That's definitely a good start from Menchie's there.
Jay didn't even give you a 3-2-1, let's go.
He did. You were just talking over the top of it.
Oh, okay.
Menchie's obviously with the lead then in that Pro T Corsa, doing a good job. He's had a bit of a hit and miss couple of weeks. He did really well 2 weeks ago, but last week just didn't seem to come together for him. Nice view on the inside here. That's a really nice, showing how close they get to that inside curb.
I love how all the spectators are standing with their hands on their hips or arms folded or not even watching. Are they not interested in hot rod racing up north?
Maybe that's just because they're all showing their disgust at the fact that I managed to miss the start. There we go. So we've got Martin Menchie's in first, Jordan Vowinkle running in second at the moment. That's not him, that's him. And there's a little pack there. Jordan Vowinkle, Scotty 78, and Ted McGrath, who actually is also going to potentially be another strong contender. He's been quick in the races that he's been in so far, so he's going to be one to watch out for.
Yeah, McFerrin up to 6th already. Dom shout out for this one. He's been the front runner definitely, and obviously championship leader. He's going to be on a mission to wrap things up tonight.
See if we can pan the camera around to him, and we'll see if we can have a quick watch.
Just going to point out, for those of you can see in the bottom right hand corner, you can see that the best lap is McFerrin as well with a 14.1. A few other drivers setting times close to that, but the front runners were, last time I saw, setting 14.6s, so McFerrin really is on fire with the pace he's setting.
Riding on board at the moment with Barry Casey, who's already been passed by McFerrin.
Spin at the back, I'm not sure who that was. Looked like one of the unmarked cars, but someone dropping down the order very rapidly there as they turned 360.
Ricky Slater there. I know he has lots of fans on the Facebook, so we'll just keep an eye on how he's doing. At the moment, he's sitting in 8th place, but let's pan forward to this man here. He's on a charge, as he always is.
He's got Adam Cochrane with him, and Cochrane is one car that was the one car ahead of him on the grid, directly in front, I think it was, or side by side at least, and they've both come up together. Ted McGrath, the car next, just so you see the mid corner and on corner exit now, they've got a little bit of time to make up and not many laps, so I think this could be a win for Menchie's and McGrath at this rate.
It's looking like it. Adam Cochrane, no slouch, but I tell you what, there's not much space for the guys to get past each other here. That looks like Craig Durrant rejoining across the inside there. I don't quite know what happened. I'd imagine he probably lost it, and I think that unmarked car we lost was Jordan Vowinkle.
Quite possibly there, Gav. I think he's in one of the unmarked cars. As they come on to the last lap now, Cochrane and McGrath. Cochrane and McFerrin. Bleh, get my words in a twist. All back.
McGrath's in the lead.
McGrath's
taking the lead from Menchie's as they come round to
lost
finish.
out in that last lap.
Oh,
there we go.
About that, isn't he? Having led the whole race just to have it snatched at the death, he's going to be gutted.
Right in the final knock-ins, Ted McGrath coming and taking victory in round number 1 from Martin Menchie's, the South African. Still a good result, and no doubt the South African fans will be very happy with that one. Let's have a look. There we are. Look, we can see Martin doing some donuts in the middle. So
Definitely happy with that performance.
Yeah, that'll be an interesting one. I can imagine
Just a
Ted
shame
McGrath will
that
be
was
chuffed.
Indeed.
But it's going to be an interesting one if that's anything to go by. We saw Niall McFerrin and Adam Cochrane, both of them quick drivers, and they didn't quite make it to the front. So if we get dominant white and yellow graders, then I think it could be an evening for them to definitely wrap up some good points and potentially stay ahead of the superstars, which will be an interesting one.
Hey, we had that happen at several tracks previous. I know that we've especially had that at tracks like Nuts Corner, where the track's narrow or shorter straight, and there's less opportunity for the superstars to make progress. And it'll be very interesting to see how it all pans out as the racing goes on. But the fact McFerrin didn't come through to win does somewhat surprise me, and the fact he also didn't pass Adam Cochrane is also an interesting point.
So
I'm glad I picked him now.
Yeah, it was a good choice. Yeah, Sarah was just biding her time. Waiting.
No, I had to go and turn the light on. Actually, my husband is sat in front of a open window with the blinds open, and I'm sat literally cocooned in a racing seat, so I couldn't see a thing. So I had to go wander over and put the light on. So apologies, it just disappeared for a minute.
No, that was a good shout on your behalf there, Sarah. Definitely, and yeah, it was a good race. It was pretty uneventful, thankfully, with regards to crashes and incidents, which is what we always like to see. But yeah, Adam Cochrane managing to make his way up to 3rd in the end. I'm sure I saw Dorothy McGrath on the Facebooks.
Yeah, well done, Ted, with the win, and Adam 3rd with lots of trophies, medals, and hand claps. So thank you as always, Dorothy. We love your comments as well as everyone else's.
I think she also made a comment about whether or not this is the last week. Did I see that right as well?
Yeah, so a bit of confusion. So this is the last advertised heat, but there was a vote taken earlier on in the season, I suppose as we'll call it, for the drivers to make a decision, and they decided that there would be a grand final, which will be next week. Do we advertise the track now, or do we leave people hanging for a little while?
Oh, let's tell you what. We'll save that one until a little bit later on in the evening, and then we can.
Keep watching, folks, and we can make the big announcement later on.
Build a bit of suspense. Tell you what, I'll quickly flip over and we can look at the results for heat number 1 before we then roll on to the grids for heat number 2. Ted McGrath, your winner in that one. Martin Menchie's in 2nd. Adam Cochrane managing to work his way up to 3rd with Niall McFerrin tucked right underneath his rear bumper. Barry Casey in 5th. Ricky Slater with a very respectable result there, managing to get up to 6th. Scotty Kendall in 7th. Alan Christie in 8th. Ben Keneally in 9th. And Matt Fawkes rounds out your top 10 for heat number 1. So I know if the first round is anything to go by, then the guys will no doubt be chomping at the bit to get out and onto the track. So let's load up those grids, and I will pass it back over to you to do your thing.
Thank you very much, Gavin. I hope you finished your tea now, lovely, because I know you literally stepped in the door less than 10 minutes before we went live. So get chomping whilst Dom and I take over.
Yeah,
for a
no, I
moment.
just finished it. Just finished.
Okay, so here is your Heat 2 grid. Your pole man is Neil Grattan, 19, followed by Kai Pallage, 876, and John Mather, 340. There's some new names there. How lovely to see, even this late on in the season. How great to see some new names.
So for the yellow graders, we've got Snoopy MSNG, Sarah's favourite, of course, Peter McCrate. Beside him, we have Rapid Roy in the 36 Tigra. Behind on the next row, we've got Chris Wilkes in the 111, and then the Jones Racing 4 car, which I don't know which of the Jones it is tonight, but it was Ollie last week. Fingers crossed he's still with us for this time.
It's advertised as Ollie, but is it Carl or is it Ollie? Maybe somebody can let us know. Anyway, your blues. We have Dom Freeman, who is proving to be Mr. Cheeky on the chat. He's currently putting up a picture of a bath with some candles to my husband. I'm not sure what's happened in the past there between the two of them. Anyway, we then have Finley Q, Kiwi Junior 74, followed by Joe Rollings 593, and Nathan Houghton 435, who was having an absolute nightmare earlier on with everything crashing out on him with the game. So let's hope that Nathan can get back in and actually join us on the grid.
So for the red graders, we've got at the front Darragh Walsh in the 160, followed up by Ronan O'Brien in the 715. Then we've got Darren Potter in the 79 car, and then David Ryan rounding out the red graders.
So your superstars for Heat 2, we have Stuart 931, followed by Charlie Aylward 46. We then have Ryan Woolsey and Sean. I'm guessing that's Sean Jacklin. I can't see if Sean Taylor's in this week. Doesn't look like he is. So I'm guessing this is Sean Jacklin as it's superstars. So Sean Jacklin is in the 11.
Cool, that's an underhand slap.
What was that?
To Sean Taylor, I know he probably didn't mean it, but seeing as it's superstars, I'll assume it's Jacqueline. I have, Taylor was scoring points the other week.
Yeah, he did score his first points, didn't he? But yeah, I saw him last night. I'm currently drinking a cup of tea out of Sean Taylor's thermos mug, so I'm sure he'll forgive me for that.
So, any picks for this heat? I think we've got to wait. It doesn't look like the guys have made their way round to the start line just yet. So, any picks for this heat from you two?
I'll let Sarah go first. I did last time, so I'll let Sarah go in.
Oh, cheers! I'm just like madly looking up and down. So I'm going to say an each-way bet going to Finley. I know that he got a little bit of red mist last week and there was a few incidents, but I think he'll have hopefully got a bit more experience under his belt with some practice this week. So I'm going to go for an each-way bet for young Finley Kiwi Junior 74.
Kiwi is one of the ones that I think, but one who I would say is a pick who's been doing really well recently is David Ryan. He's been Mr. Consistent, and I'm surprised he's not a superstar yet, actually, with the way he's been going.
Fair enough. We shall wait and see which of us or which of you turns out to be right with that one. I'm going to make sure we've got some sound so that everyone can hear what is happening at home as the guys all line up. We're looking at the front row of the grid now with Neil Grattan on the inside there. I reckon keep an eye out for that guy in 5th place, Johnny McCoy, starting quite high up. It could be interesting with relatively inexperienced white graders.
Good evening, Martin. Thank you for the hello.
Donald Rozier with Go Team Q. Let's see what Finley can do this time out as the guys are getting ready to start for round number 2 here at Buxton. Look at that, look, see, when I'm actually paying attention, look at the timing, that was almost professional sounding.
It was almost professional. Keep going and then we'll see if we prove our worth. Those Northerners are still facing in the wrong direction, look. Still
look
got
at that,
hands on
oh,
hips.
there we go, that's commentator's curse for Johnny McCoy. He was over on his roof. He's now up the right way. Rapid Roy up the front. There's Finley Q as well. He's gone into the
Oh,
wall.
definitely commentator's curse. Sorry, Finley. Sorry, Kerry. I know you'll be watching, and Jason.
Watches
And
all
someone in the
the.
wall there. Who's that on the other side? Yellow car. I just spotted, but didn't see the number.
It looks like poor Finley might be stuck up on the infield. Have to wait and see as the cars come round.
Yeah, I've got no leaderboard, so I can't confirm who's not racing now. I'm afraid.
That's
That
Finley.
is Finley.
That's Finley stranded on the inside town.
Up a grass bank.
So Ronan O'Brien, they're fighting with. I think that's Darrell Walsh on the outside that he's fighting with. Dom shout out to David Ryan in that yellow Corsa as they come round. They're about to complete their 7th lap. And at the moment, our newbie, Kai, is still out in front. In fact, with quite a significant gap. That looks like 3 seconds that was to Peter McCrate, who's there. And Peter is scrapping, by the looks of things, with, it says with Rapid Roy, but Rapid Roy looks like he's in a car behind, unless that is a lapped car that separates them.
I think that is a lap car. And, yeah, Kai has kept his nose clean in these early stages for sure, and has capitalised on every mistake behind.
Rapid Roy was last seen eating pizza from the messages on the Discord, so maybe he's just got one hand on the wheel and one hand eating pizza.
Well, he's definitely put that slice down. He's holding quite nicely in 3rd. 10 laps gone already, and yeah, I think that definitely is going to be a lapped car, because look, that's Johnny McCoy that's there, and he hasn't managed, unfortunately, to make his way back up to 4th after that early incident.
Wilkes 111, another one who's doing a pretty good job in given the position that he's holding. Ronan O'Brien also in the 8th place. He's got to, I reckon he'd be able to make up a few more as well, given his performances we've seen over the course of of the league itself.
Your shout out, David Ryan, up there in 5th place, so he's done really well to come through most of the grid there.
So, lap 13 of 15. Kai still well out in front. There he is, look, all by himself. And as you said, Dom, just managing to keep his nose clean at the moment. Oh. Peter following him. And then Rapid Roy in 3rd.
Done a good job. Snoopy's done a good job. Rapid Roy has got a little gap to him, so all on his own in 2nd, very lonely position by the looks of things. Kai on his last lap and will be coming into the last turn now.
Here he comes now to cross the line. There's Kai. Here comes Peter McCrate. And look at this scrap for 3rd. Potter 79 just manages to pinch that one at the last second from Roy Anderson, Rapid Roy. That was, well, we said how long would it be before we had cars crossing the line side by side. I tell you what, there wasn't much in between those two. Not much in between those two at all.
No, isn't it great? Even though we're on round 10 of this championship, we've got new drivers and new winners. Fantastic to see.
So, Buxton has already, so far, given us some results that, I mean, you wouldn't technically, I guess, have probably expected straight off the bat. We'd have all probably put our money on the likes of Noel McFerrin and that shining through, but it hasn't happened so far this evening. So yeah, definitely going to be an interesting. Well, it's going to be interesting to see who makes it through to the various finals. So
the guesses are coming in on where this grand final is. So Donald Rosier is saying, can we have it at Great Yarmouth on the figure of 8?
Why not? It seems like a valid suggestion to me.
I like this idea. Come on, keep the guesses coming, folks. Keep the guesses coming.
I still think Yarmouth would have been a good one to have on the calendar, seeing as the actual hot rods were returning there this year. But Post and Wire is not a popular one with hot rod drivers. Wimbledon got turned down for the sort of similar reasons. So although it was nice idea. I don't think it would have worked in practice.
Although it was then reinstated, was it not? I've been to a few Wimbledon meetings.
Yeah, I think Wimbledon did host a few in its last years. I was more referring to in this season. We had, I think, in the week after Northampton, we were voting, and I think even for this final week, we were voting over Wimbledon. But I'm not sure whether it's how popular it's been amongst the voter base and the drivers.
Just be careful you don't give anything away, Dom.
Oh no!
The mystery continues. Da, da, da.
Very often we have any kind of mystery in this place, but let's quickly hop over. We have your official results from heat number 2. Kai managing to take a victory in the second heat, holding on to that position from the very beginning. Peter McCrate in second, Darren Potter in third. He just stole that from Roy Anderson, who finishes fourth. David Ryan in that yellow Corsa, finishing in fifth. Chris Wilkes in the 111, finishing sixth. Stuart Hammond in seventh. Adam Turner finishing eighth. Ronan O'Brien in ninth. And Dara Walsh rounding out your top 10 for the second heat. So, it's already setting up. I tell you what, I can see this being an interesting final. I must admit, Kai did surprise me there. Should never possibly underestimate the newbies coming in, but I wasn't expecting him to hang on to well, first place and end up finishing there, I must admit.
I think things did play into his favour with the incidents behind, but it will be interesting to see whether he does it for the second heat that he's out for sure.
Yeah, good point. He is out again in heat 4, and he's starting front row, but not off pole for that one again. So exactly the same as the race he's just been in. So yeah, be interesting. He's also up against Martin Mindjees later on. So obviously he's a very experienced character. So it'll be interesting to see. With a lot of experience up in the white graders. We were talking about, surprises of graders not moving about. I'm surprised that Martin hasn't gone at least back to the yellows with some of the successes over the last couple of weeks.
Well, talking about grades, I suppose I shall pass over to you guys again so that we can look at the grids for this heat number 3.
So for the third heat, another new driver on the pole, Matthew KM. Not sure what his number will be tonight, or if he's got a livery, but he sits on the pole for this third heat. Third heat, my mistake. Making his second appearance of the night will be Danny Van Ryn in the 47, and again, a second appearance rounding up the whites for Lucas Hopster.
So your yellow graders for heat 3, we have Junior Rod 332, followed by Crusher Chrome 66. We've then got Ben Keneally back in the 210, followed by Jordan Vovinkle 122, as my husband is munching Haribo in my ear. How cruel of him not to pass one over.
For the blue graders, we've got Jason Loosemore in the SA car, South African 15. Then we've got Owen Burke in the 656, and then rounding out the blues, we should have Ted McGrath, not Johnny Hammond, as the graphic would suggest.
So your reds for heat 3, we have Blake 835, followed by AS Racing 32. We've then got Craig Durrant, followed by Simon 998.
So with the superstars, we've got Adam Cochran again for his second heat of the night. Niall McFerrin, Jason Q, making it back up to superstar, and Aaron McGrath rounding out the grid.
Are you having a cheeky snack there, Dom?
I might have been. I'm in the same position as Gav, that I haven't actually eaten before getting in. So I was trying to munch away on something discreetly, but that didn't work. Doing it between grid colours. So I'll avoid doing that one again.
Are you sure you're not having a cheeky Haribo?
It's not Haribo. I need something more substantial than that. It must be said. I have not eaten all day pretty much, but yeah, I was just trying to see if I could do it between grid colours, and that evidently didn't work.
You need my 2-year-old. She's helped me make all the packed lunches for tomorrow before tea today so that I could come down. So usually it's this point of the evening that I'm doing packed lunches. Now Rapid Roy's putting pictures of pizzas up. Oh my goodness. Yeah,
So-
on Discord. We're getting all the chats coming again. So we've gone from a picture of a bath to now a picture of a nice pizza.
Now, I did hear last week, wasn't it? I think Dom Freeman was putting up pictures of Jay's various cars in various crash states as
Yeah,
well.
so I've seen a very nice national hot rod go up there, and also a very, very smashed up legend. I think that was when he knocked himself out at Hennesford. Although told the marshal who came and said, "Mate, you've just knocked yourself out." No, I'm inspecting my shoelaces. Was the reply from Jay Austen.
So, yeah, this is going to be another interesting one to pick. There's quite a strong set of white graders and that up at the front, and in fact, it's quite a strong set of quite a strong grid. Full stop. So, any particular shouts? Obviously, the choice that we would have normally made would be Niall McFerrin.
So if we forget Niall McFerrin, the man who did the treble last week, Blake Robertson in the 835 car, my bets will be on him for this one. He was simply unstoppable last time out, and although he's made up to Red, I still think he's in the best position to win.
Yeah, that sounds like a good one. Also, obviously, Ted McGrath took the win in Heat 1, so they are literally one after the other on the grid, so it'll be interesting to see how that battle goes over the first few laps.
I'm going to be intrigued to see how young Ben Keneally gets on, sat up at the front there, as we can see at the moment, as the revs climb, and away we go. And this is the beginning of heat number 3 this evening at Buxton.
Not sure if we've mentioned it already on the stream, but Ben Keneally, our interviewee for this evening, another Irish driver looking to get their name out there, and is already starting off this race with a good little performance. He's got a tasty lead to Jason Loosemore, nearly a second, maybe just fluctuating over that.
Yeah, got a great whole shot there, didn't he, to shoot into the leader ahead of our South African Jason Loosemore.
Playing with the cameras there, I was trying to give us a little sort of panning shot to see the entire grid going past. We'll try it again as we come down the start-finish straight. That one worked quite well in races gone by, or the heats gone by. You see everyone streaming past. There's Niall McFerrin, Adam Cochrane's in front of him, Jason Q and Aaron McGrath there.
McFerrin and Robertson now line astern on the track on the last lap.
Oh,
and that's Ashley Shaw. Ashley Shaw slipping down. He's dropped out the top 10 with that as well, and it's brought Jason Q back up. And Lewis Pine's got his 9th position back as well.
Now look at this fight for the lead here. You've got that's Ben Keneally up on his side.
Keneally's off.
Loosemore manages to capitalise on that one. And Loosemore and Ted McGrath now scrapping for the lead. This could be an interesting one. I can imagine all of the South Africans getting very excited at this very moment. One of their own scrapping for victory.
Ted McGrath's having a really good night. He's made it up to the lead again, and is looking to defend it. This time from a hard chasing Jason Loosemore. Jason's been quick over the weeks, but hasn't been able to really bring any big success out of it. This could be his night. He's looking good.
So, just starting lap 10. He's still got time to do it.
Keneally's done well to hold on to 3rd position there after that great big run up the wall.
0.3 of a second between these guys. A couple of seconds then back to Keneally. Niall McFerrin once again with the best lap, as you can see down that bottom corner, of 14 dead.
Really nothing much between these top two at the moment. It is a great little battle that we've got going on. No one really making any reckless moves or mistakes. So at the moment it's pretty stable. Just as I say that.
Keneally gets caught up again.
And that's Loosemore that was in it as well. McFerrin's taken advantage of this one.
McFerrin and I think it's Adam Cochrane again. Yes, it is. He's up to 3rd. So the two at the back, the two superstars cutting through the field once again.
I missed what happened with Jason Loosemore there. But he obviously lost it somehow down that straight. As we come round to finish lap 15, Ted McGrath holding on for the victory. Niall
And
McFerrin.
Owen's facing in the wrong direction. Owen Burke, there, last week's interviewee, was facing in the wrong direction.
Last corner for Niall McFerrin. Checkered flag comes down. Nice easy second, but having to dodge the chaos in front of him.
Well, really taking advantage of the chaos in front of him there, Niall McFerrin and Adam Cochrane. And here's a shout for someone that I think everyone speaks very fondly of in the Discord. Dom Freeman in 4th place.
Obviously, his cheek to my other half has brought him some joy and some good honour for this evening.
Well, if you're going to rely on anything, you might as well rely on that.
Makes him more relaxed for the race, I suppose, doesn't it? Great to see that. Local lad here in Ipswich, very involved in racing, although he's not raced himself. His dad was heavily involved with Speedworth and a really, really top bloke.
So, our superstars definitely pouncing on the opportunities ahead of them. And
Oh, I don't know if we've lost Gav there. That seems to have gone very quiet, if not gone. Oh, there we are.
No, I'm back. Yeah, no.
Gradual drop off.
Yeah, that was interesting. I don't quite know what my headset did there. But yeah, the superstars definitely taking advantage of everything they could to make their way up the grid this time round.
Just waiting on those confirmed results. I think certainly the man who will feel most aggrieved or most like he's lost out is the man I'm going to be speaking to later, Ben Keneally. He did well, granted, to keep it out of the wall and out of serious trouble when he put it on 2 wheels, but it's when he came through that exit, the last turn, and things were just all in the road and in his way, that I think that just completely ruined everything for him, and he would lost out massively there after a good start to the race.
Well, a track like this, you've definitely not got very many places to be able to dive off to, as we have the confirmed result for this heat. Ted McGrath, your victor, with Niall McFerrin picking up 2nd place. That'll definitely do him the world of good when it comes to picking up points to try and cement the championship for him. Adam Cochrane in the 3rd, Dom Freeman in 4th, Jason Loosemore ended up finishing 5th in the end. And he was running very close with Ted McGrath up at the top of the leaderboard. So it's unfortunate that he ended up in that incident that knocked him down to 5th. Blair Robertson in 6th. Aaron McGrath making his way up the field into 7th place. Ben Keneally in 8th. Ashley Shaw in 9th. And the man with the Mini, Craig Durrant, rounds out your top 10.
Sorry, just busy writing everything off there. Just seen a little chat going on between Aaron McGrath and QE. Aaron wasn't sure if he'd maybe touched QE and caused his spin, but QE saying very honourably, "No, mate, it was all my doing. I spun myself." So it's just nice to see the reaction of the drivers, and I think there's probably quite a few guys that have become mates, I suppose, through the Discord messaging and racing against each other. Maybe some guys that haven't met each other in real life before, just brought together through the simulated racing to keep us all out of mischief over these lockdown summer months.
I wouldn't be surprised if exactly that, if it has brought some people together, and it'll be interesting when obviously racing kicks off again and it's not behind closed doors. It'll be interesting to see just how many people end up bumping into each other and how many conversations it might spark up once the racing is back going again.
So the first of the hot rods in real life will be seen this Saturday at Vauxhall. Not an open test session, it is a behind closed doors test session, but just going to brush off a few cobwebs of some of the drivers and some of the nationals.
Well, I'm certain that I'll be speaking with some of the guys that have been racing over the weeks. I know that Jay and I definitely need to catch up because we hadn't met prior to this league forming, and his driver Sean Taylor as well, who the reason he probably isn't here is probably because he's preparing for this coming weekend. A lot of work going into that car. I think the Q boys are also going to make an appearance as well, so I'll have plenty of catching up to do with drivers who have been racing over the weeks.
Am I right in thinking you're going to be live from the track?
Oh yes, you got that just right. Live from 10 a.m. I believe when the session starts, maybe even be a little bit sooner. We're trying to really make it a bit more content filled this time. Although Aldershot was very much a sort of bare bones test session, we're going to be doing our best this time to make Ipswich a bit more fuller and active for the viewers.
I know my 5-year-old little boy Stanley, who goes to pretty much all the race meetings in the van with Sean, and is one of the boys definitely, was utterly disappointed when Daddy informed him he wasn't going to be able to go to Foxhill on Saturday. So Daddy very rightly said, "It's all right, Mummy can put it on the iPad. You'll be able to watch it on Speedworth TV on Facebook." So I must say Stanley was very happy that he was going to be able to watch some of his drivers going around and be able to see some hot rods again.
So, as the guys start to line up on the track, I should hand over to you guys so you can run through the grids quickly.
Okie dokie. So, Heat 4, here we go. Can't believe it's Heat 4 already. So, your white graders, our poleman is Neil Grattan, 19, followed by your Heat 2 winner, Kai Pallage, 876. And my old mate, Martin Munchies, 91, is your third place white grader for Heat 4.
So for the yellow graders, we've got Snoopy MSNG again, Peter McCrate, followed by Rapid Roy alongside him. Johan 148 is on the next row, and then Scotty 78, Scott Kendall rounding out the yellows.
So Dom Freeman, who I'm guessing he must have missed Heat 2, the fact he appeared in the previous heat. So he is the front of the blues, followed by Finley Q, Kiwi Junior 74. We then have Alan Christie and Fawkes 46.
For the red graders, we've got Darragh Walsh in the 160 car. Following him, we've got Ronan O'Brien. And then rounding out the 3-car red grades, we've got Barry Casey in the 961.
So your superstars are Stuart 931, followed by Charlie Aylward 46, Turner 447, and Ricky Slater, who was 6th in Heat 1, will be your final car on the grid for Heat 4. Looks like the admins are ready. They're just waiting for us to finish the grid before they can do the countdown.
So, let's wait on these guys getting underway, and away they are. Ignore the fact that for some reason I seem to be showing up as a driver in the top 10 list. That's an interesting one. I'm not racing. Not in this series, anyway.
Because you're so talented. That's you multitask you again, Gav.
Really, really good start from Kai, and he has just simply left Martin Menchie's behind, looking to take second win of the night. Much like Ted McGrath, they've got a good run of form behind them, it seems. And this white grader and new driver to the series really showing his prowess behind the wheel.
Yeah, definitely. As we said earlier on, great to see a new driver even at this late stage. Oh, little wobble there, just hit the wall, and
Peter McCrate taking advantage of that.
Yeah, my old mate Snoopy is into the lead.
Rapid Roy following them up. Manchie's looking a little bit slidey coming into the corner as well. Not often that you see corner entry oversteer, it's usually on exit when the power's on, so might be steering that little bit too much into the turn. Might not have a really good and safe setup underneath him, looking a little fragile there.
That wall off that last corner is definitely a favourite, isn't it, that we can see a lot of them bouncing off there and making the benefit of getting the drive off the wall.
Ali Fernandez saying go, 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 102. That, of course, being Ricky Slater, who I've yet to see making a huge amount of headway, as that looks like Nathan Houghton.
Yeah, it's the black and green car. Sadly, Nathan just sliding onto the centre there. I'm not sure if there was any contact. I have to find out later on.
Johnny McCoy in the wall in the background.
Oh dear, and yeah, further incidents going on with Johnny.
Oh, and Rapid Roy was getting up on two wheels there. That's definitely thrown him out of contention.
Yeah, Ricky Slater is still up there. He's just not broken into the top 10 yet. I did see him going round as we left the camera to sort of watch all the cars go by, but I don't think he's made as much progress as he would probably like.
So
Go back to our leader.
Ignore our scoring board that's over on the left-hand side. I might in fact turn that off because that's definitely having a bit of a moment. and we will take you through the drivers and their positions as it is so far. So there's Kai in first. Behind him is Peter McCrate. Behind him is Martin Menchis. That is, I believe, Darrell Walsh. Behind him, with our fastest lapping driver at the moment, Ronan O'Brien. Do you know what? I am going to put that overlay back on just for a second so we can try and hopefully see how many laps have been completed. 13 laps of the 15 so far.
Just spotted we've lost Nathan Houghton out again. Looks like he was parked up in the infield.
Yeah. So it looks like it's kind of right. We've got Kai in first, Snoopy in second, Martin Munchies in third, Darrell Walsh in fourth, Ronan O'Brien in fifth, Adam Turner in the 447 car.
Menchis and Walsh coming together on the exit of the corner. I think that was some more oversteer from Menchis and just costing Walsh that one position to Ronan O'Brien, but they managed to keep it together.
O'Brien into the last lap. Oh!
Doesn't get it.
He was definitely so close to getting past Martin Menchis, but as you said, yeah, he didn't just quite make it in the end. And, Ronan O'Brien is now seeing what the world looks like upside down, obviously.
Looks like everybody just slammed the brakes on at the checkers there, didn't they? All ploughing into each other.
Oh, a few guys deciding at the end that they're going to have a little celebrate and pull a few little donuts, and why the devil not? So that was another interesting one. Definitely going to have to look and see what's happened with the leaderboard we've got on the side. It's kind of showing the right thing, but a little bit wonky. So we'll try and sort that out in between heats. But an interesting one there. And again, no real big, or what I would regard as big names from the superstar side of things to be seen at the top of the leaderboard.
No, that's very true. I think Kai had that one wrapped up from the start. The getaway he got against Menchis was just something else. And I don't think there was just really going to be any threat because everyone else, the really quick guys who would have been able to catch him, were starting half a lap behind in red or the superstar grade. So very easy win again for Kai. Good fight for second though. I was really intrigued to see who was going to take that position.
Just going to throw this one in there. What would have happened if Kai Palage had appeared earlier on in the season? Just going to put that one out there for you all.
See, it's a funny one. It's one that we're never going to know because we've had a few people when they've been white grades have looked really, really on form and they've absolutely stonked home to victories. Yet sometimes when they start, going up the grades, we don't see much from them anymore. So it's always an interesting one. And, some of the other guys that we've seen have been, as Dom very rightly says, just sort of consistent week in, week out. So it's always interesting to see the difference there between the guys who are just sitting on top because they're starting right at the front and, you haven't got you've got half a lap's lead over the people who are going to be chasing you as opposed to those who are managing to do it through, not that I'm saying they're not skillful, but you know what I mean without upsetting anyone.
I know some of the real life drivers haven't found the changeover to sim racing as easy as they may have envisaged, although it's sitting with pedals, a steering wheel and a gear stick in front of them, although not all in the case of Mr. Jason Q as he was early on. Some guys haven't found the transition so easy. So yeah, we've seen some drivers come and go, but some that have stuck with us right through to the bitter end. So looking forward to next week and the grand finale.
Just call them riders. That endears me to you more now, Sarah. I prefer riders now. It sounds.
Sorry, I had so many years of reporting on British and World Superbikes and MotoGP in my former life as a journalist. So I apologise.
No, it just sounds.
You know what I mean.
It sounds wrong. You correcting yourself now. I'd just stick with riders. I think everyone in Facebook chat will agree with me on that one. I know Dorothy will definitely agree with me on that one. Just say it however you want.
Thanks, Raywood, just for pointing out that Kai is the chappie that was inquiring last week. Yep, so we did say, obviously, get in early with the bookings. As soon as we announce it, get on there, get yourself booked in. And obviously, Kai was successful to join us and is seeing the reap of the rewards. Anyway, I'll let you go through the results, Gav.
So, Kai, who we were just speaking about there, taking his second victory for this evening. Peter McCrate in second place, Snoopy. So no doubt Sarah's secretly very happy about that one. I think that's secretly her favourite driver or rider.
Always.
Martin Menchie's taking up a third position, with Ronan O'Brien managing to make his way up to fourth. Darrell Walsh in fifth. Adam Turner in sixth place. Barry Casey in the 961 car in seventh. Roy Anderson, Rapid Roy in eighth. Ricky Slater in the 102 managed to work his way up from the superstar grade up to ninth place, and Stuart Hammond rounds out your top 10 for that heat. Dorothy with she says, just some useless info, but I don't think Aaron 57 has ever finished higher than 5th in any race, but is still 14th coming into this race in the championship. So it just shows you don't have to win to be a superstar, just consistent with the results. Couldn't put it much better than that, to be honest. And there's a few drivers that I think we could say that applies to. Who were we saying earlier on? David Ryan is another one that's very much in that similar situation. He's always been there or thereabouts, not necessarily on the top step of the podium. But definitely.
Trying to look and see who else. I know that I was going to say, I think Sean Jacklin might. I'm not sure if he's actually won a meeting outright, but he's always been there, up and consistent. And he's 5th in the championship on 159 points. Only 1 point separating him and Adam Turner. So top drivers like them still vying for position, although I think the championship will be very much over by this evening. I hate to disappoint those who would like to see a last meeting shootout, but Cochrane has got to really outscore McFerrin tonight, and already McFerrin has pretty much shadowed him every race, so can't see it happening. But it's been a good season for both of them, and I think they could both go away with this with their heads held high.
So, I suppose, sorry to cut you off there, Sarah, I know that Jay's starting to get the guys all sorted out, so I will scoot over to the grids quickly. And I will let the pair of you do your magic from there.
So, for the 5th and final heat of points this evening, we've got Matthew KM on the pole, and John Maver in the 340, accompanying him in a 2-car white grade for this heat.
So your yellows for this final heat are Junior Rod 332, followed by Crusher Chrome 66 and Wilkes 111.
I've got the Jones Racing car there also in the yellows, but I'm not sure if amendments have been made or changes, whether he raced in the first one. Didn't see him personally, so don't know on that one, can't confirm. For the blue, marks. Yeah. For the blue graders, we've got Jason Loosemore, in the SA15 car. Then we've got the 656 car of Owen Burke. Joe Rollings in the 593 is in the 3rd position in the blue grades. And then rounding it out is Nathan Houghton in the 435.
So we have, it's down as Blake 835, but I believe it's Blair Robertson is the front of the Reds. He's had a good race of 6th in Heat 3. We've then got AS Racing 32, followed by Potter 79, and lastly David Ryan.
So for the superstar graders, we've got Jason Q taking up that front position, then Aaron McGrath alongside him, Ryan Woolsey on the back row alongside Sean Jacklin in the 11.
So, I just need to say a big thank you. I don't know which driver it was, but there was a bit of a comedy moment which none of you will get to see, thankfully, which just happened off screen. As we've said before, we have to, I have to position a car into the centre of the track so that we can watch these races. I'm just going to put the volume on so we can hear these guys at the same time. I might have managed to beach myself on the banking in the middle of the corner, so thank you whoever knocked me into the infield as we get underway for the 5th and final heat this evening.
Jordan Bowinkle, very good start. Sorry about that, Sarah.
No, you're absolutely fine. Just to say, Bowinkle has got the whole shot and shot into the lead from quite far back.
No, it's corrected itself now. Wilkes 111, I think it's 2 seconds. Even then, that's still quite a big gap. Good start, clearly, from Vowinkle, getting clear of the pack. Loosemore up to 3rd, so he'll be very happy with that one.
Something funny is definitely happening with, and that's not our telemetry that's playing up there. But yeah, Chris Wilkes to be up to 2nd. That's an interesting one. Bearing in mind,
Yellow grade, it would
Chris...
make sense, but I don't know where Maver has gone. He dropped down very quickly, if that's the case.
That looked like Ashley Shaw possibly there, pulling off to the inside.
Not a good night for Ashley Shaw. He's spun in his first heat and is now looking like he's on the inside and retired from this one now.
Oh, John Maver just spotted him back in 9th, so been overtaken. Aaron McGrath has had a shout out from Mum Dorothy, is up to 8th place, and Ryan Wolsey is 7th.
So Jason Loosemore is definitely going to be looking for that victory that he was hunting down in an earlier heat before he had an incident that so cruelly took that away from him. He's chasing down Chris Wilkes in that 111 car at the moment. And then there's another orange car that was going slow there.
Just quickly want to touch that Loosemore is the fastest man on track. 14.3, it's not the fastest pace we've seen this evening, but it is the fastest in this heat as Ashley Shaw goes to the inside once again.
I'm actually wondering whether that is Ashley Shaw. There's 2 of them. I think there's Lewis Pines racing as well. I think
that's
that
true.
May have been Lewis Pine and in the 32 as opposed to... Oh! Was that Vowinkle? It was Vowinkle's gone round. Wilkes 111's in the lead.
All change at the front, very quick to spot that there, Gav. And we've got a car beached on the inside. I'm not sure if that's
Matt
still
Fawkes.
Vowinkle.
I don't think he's going to get going there. That's Matt Fawkes that was on the inside there. He's now retired. You can see that at the bottom of your screen, guys. Jason Loosemore has got to be smelling a victory here, surely. You can see he's starting to push now that he's realised that that first place has evaporated in front of them.
It's Lewis Pine that keeps spinning onto the centre. Definitely, Jason Loosemore will be thinking this is within his grasp, but he has to stay close to Wilkes in these closing laps. He's only got about 2 or 3 laps to really put the pressure on, and Wilkes currently hasn't really made any mistakes. He's hugging that inside line very closely.
And they've also got Blair Robertson, who's closing in nicely. Our man of the moment for last week's meeting is definitely coming up behind them.
Here we go. We start the final lap. Can Jason Loosemore make something stick? He's going to the inside here. It's going to be a bit of a drag race as they're coming into the final corner. I don't think Jason Loosemore's going to do it, although he could do.
Brilliant stuff.
He's done it!
Side by side.
Jason Loosemore has taken the victory out of the final corner. What a fantastic finish that was.
Absolutely amazing, absolutely amazing. We've seen some finals where we've gone to the wire pretty much, but that's got to be the closest race of the whole series so far.
Side by side across the line, they were pretty close. It wasn't wheel to wheel. Loosemore definitely had a wheel in front, but that was brilliant racing, and that is a well-deserved victory. I can almost hear the comments section already with all the South African flags flying in it. We'll have to wait and see what the reaction is, but Loosemore with a fantastic victory in that 5th and final heat.
Warren Day
yeah, lots
saying,
of SA, Jason Loosemore, well done. Yes, well done, Jason. Fantastic finish. The comments are all flying. All the accolades are all flying on the comments. Yeah, brilliant race from Jason there.
That was a fantastic finish there, and yeah. Oh. I got all excited there and everything, and Michelle Loosemore. Yeah, exactly. That was a fantastic finish. You couldn't ask for much more from a heat than that. That was really quite special. And nothing like leaving it right down to the wire.
Oh yeah, they're very much doing an Ormond Christie in that sense, leaving it to the last lap, giving your opponent no chance to strike back. Fantastic stuff all around, has to be said from both of them.
Obviously,
there's some great applause by all the drivers as well, saying congratulations to Jason and well done everyone in the heats. Great racing. I'm a sweaty mess, says Aaron McGrath. Lovely, Aaron. Cheers for that image. Thanks ever so much.
There was a hang glider just then. Yes, there is. I'll see if I can see it again at some point, and I'll flick that over so that guys can see it. Hang on a second. I'm just gonna have to quickly let go to the.
Well, there is a very, very large hill that goes pretty much to the back of the track. We've seen ambulances and all sorts going up the couple of times that we've been up there, so I would imagine that's a very good place for hang gliders to take off from.
Well, there's a normal glider that's going past. I definitely saw a hang glider as well at some point, so we'll just wait and see whether or not that one makes an appearance in a minute. But yeah, that glider seems to be going pretty slowly. I'm not entirely sure that I'd want to be on board with it. Well, that's a completely different thing because it looks like the server may have just it reset? I don't know. Anyway, that's neither here nor there because it's reached that time in the evening. Once again, I can sort all of that out behind the scenes. Don't worry about that, guys. It's reached that time in the evening once again where we get to welcome one of our riders to come in and talk to our man Dom, the man in the know. So yeah, take it away, Dom.
Well, tonight we've got someone who's been around for a very long time in this league, really putting in the laps and a lot of effort to boot. It's Ben Keneally in the 210 car. Good evening, Ben. Oh, I think Ben might still be on mute.
Ben appears.
If the technical wizardry were listening in, know that Ben is on mute. If you want to unmute him, we can get this interview going.
It looks like he may have muted himself, which is an interesting one. I'm looking at the hang on. Tad's is trying to sort it.
Good old Tads. What would we do without him? He is our man.
Ben was madly messaging in Discord then, Tads, I'm muted. Help.
Right, second attempt. Ben Keneally in the 210. Good evening, Ben.
Good evening, how are you?
Hello, thank you for joining us this evening. I'm good, thank you. And yourself?
Not too bad. Really happy, racing out tonight and, kind of get that racing adrenaline through. And, yeah, it's great fun and enjoying the night.
Well, much like last week's guest, Ben is another one from the Republic of Ireland. Just quickly, I don't usually go straight in and dive into comments about the races you've had throughout the evening, but I was going to say I felt a little heartbroken for you in that first heat that you did, where you had the roadblock form in front of you, I'd say, and things just didn't go your way there. Was there any way through that you could have got through, or was that just not going to happen?
Honestly, it's just like racing. You can't really think of what to do. It's all happens at once, and unfortunately, there could have been an escape route, but unfortunately, not with my luck, I didn't make it through. But sure, that's racing. You got to take it on the chin and race on, I suppose.
So I briefly mentioned that last week's guest, Owen Burke. You race in very similar, if not the same, type of cars as him in the junior productions over at the smaller Republic of Ireland raceways. I think you have Waterford Raceway in common, certainly.
That's correct. Yeah, I've raced Owen and many other people inside this league in real life and junior productions, and we've had great fun. I've been doing tarmac for a year and a half now, and I've never seen a dull moment in it, and it's great fun, to be honest.
Is this your first Formula in racing, or have you been elsewhere? Because I know that I'm aware that you've been on grass before, and I've just having a look through other things that you've done. I can see that there's a Ford Escort rally car that appears quite a lot in your Facebook photos. If you want to sort of give us an idea of what goes on with your family and what sort of upbringing into racing you've had.
Yes, so I started off in grass when I was 11 back in 2015. And I went on grass there for 2-3 years, and then just late 2018 I decided to make the change to tarmac, as a lot of friends were racing through that. But before, my father, who owns the Orange Escort, rallies, so he does forestry rallies and tarmac rallies, and that kind of got me the drive to go drive myself. And yeah, he's been basically my motivation to get better and better each race, which is a good thing, I suppose. But yeah, it's definitely the car of the family. Like, that thing never leaves, and it's his baby. He can't let go of it. So yeah, it's quite famous, that car.
Mark II Escort rally cars. I'll be honest, if I had the opportunity to have one of those, I wouldn't let it go either. It's a really, really nice car. And, the family spirit certainly drawing you into the racing, into the junior rods and into the grassroots formulas. I know that you've also done some other online racing as well. You've done other leagues and other online games. I thought I'd bring this up with you because most of the drivers or most of the people that I've spoken to over the weeks have done real life racing as their mainstay. But I can see that you've also done leagues on Forza. You've done sort of drifting stuff on other games, and I know that you've also done a game that's quite close to my heart, the Dirt Rally one, which probably goes in sort of together with that Ford Escort sort of feel that you've got and the things that you do with your dad.
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah, I started drifting a couple of years ago, and Forza, I had a big drive to do drifting. I did a few competitions, did not bad, but then I just kind of drifted away from it, and then last year, I kind of got into Dirt Rally, and I have a wheel now, so I kind of went into the simulation rallies and all that. So it's great fun. It's really like the real thing, and also I get to drive a Mark II Escort, so it's fun enough, right? Yeah.
For those of you listening in who don't know what Dirt Rally 2.0, it's a sort of variation of the Colin McRae series, and it's probably the most realistic and probably the scariest rally game out there, especially if you're playing it with a wheel and with pedals and in cockpit mode, because I think you would agree, Ben, there is no closer thing to reality than that game, and it certainly is frightening with all the force feedback.
Definitely. It's very intense. Like, you'd be in the car and you'd be tensing, and one little mistake and you're off the road, and you never know, you could be ridden off the car in the first corner if you're not fully focused. But it's a really kind of treacherous game, if you nearly call it. It's very demanding. You got to be on your game every time, and if you make one little mistake or you take one little bit of focus off it, you're in the ditch, which is basically like real rallying, to be honest.
So just quickly going back to the online ovals, you joined up with this with our group. Was that something? Had you owned R Factor and played R Factor before and done league racing on there, or was this literally your first time racing in a league? And has it been really enjoyable? Hence, you've made so many appearances and done so many meetings over the weeks.
Actually, I literally only downloaded R Factor for this because I saw it through a friend of mine who started not too long before, and I just found it really good because obviously I do tarmac ovals in real life, and even though these are nationals and it's a lot different compared to a Micra, which I race front wheel drive as well, and this is rear wheel drive. It's great fun. It's close racing, and the drivers are very respectable, and you can really get good adrenaline pump out of it. And yeah, it's great crack, to be honest, and I love it a lot, to be fair. And yeah, I'll hopefully do more in the future.
That's really good to hear, Ben. But as we have to address this now, as lockdown is starting to ease, I bet you're really itching to get back racing with the junior production as well. Have you got many plans for this year and years going forward?
Honestly, this year has just been kind of all over the place. At the start of lockdown, we thought we were going to get no racing this year, and now in the current stage, in another 2 weeks or so, we got a practice day up in Tipperary, or Sora Tipperary Raceway. I've never driven there before, but it'll be an exciting new thing to find out, I suppose. It's a whole different game to Waterford, where I raced last year. But if I try and tempt the father enough, I might try and go to Tipperary for the full year and try and take a hit for the championship. But I suppose we'll have to see about that.
That's good to hear as well. While we've still got you on the air, just as a final piece, is there anyone you'd like to thank or sponsors you'd like to give a shout out who may be watching? Just while you've got your last few moments.
Yeah, so I'd like to thank my dad for everything he's done, with, my racing career and how he supported me throughout, and it's been an amazing help that he's given to me. Spending every time he had or has on the car, and give me tips every race. Give me information on my driving and try and make me a better driver. And also, I'd like to thank everyone here for running this league, especially like Gavin, Sarah, and Dam as well, who's commentating. Thank you very much for everything you've done, and also the admins as well inside the Discord and everything. Really, thank you very much for everything you've done, and it's been a very enjoyable league, and I hope to do more in the future.
That's very kind. Thank you very much for your time this evening, Ben. I think we're all sharing the love back straight at you, because without you guys, the drivers, it wouldn't have happened. So, big thanks to you and all the other guys that have taken part over the weeks. And best of luck this evening. I'm not sure. I think you'll be in a B final based on that unfortunate incident in the first heat. But best of luck for whatever happens going forward in these last 2 weeks. And hopefully you can get a bit more success out of the car before we go back racing again.
Thank you very much, and thanks for having me.
Cheers. Thank you very much for your time, Ben.
Thank you.
I can confirm that Ben is indeed going to be in the B final. I've just had the final grids sent over to me. I'm sure you probably have them as well, Sarah. Would I be right in saying?
They're all copied and ready to press go in Facebook as soon as you need me to.
So yeah, well, huge thanks to Ben there, and for shouting us out as well. That was very kind of him. He didn't have to do that. We're obviously enjoy being over here. Do you know what? I've no doubt that there's going to be people who are out watching this who could have just listened to Ben Keneally and his voice all day, because I know that the Irish accent is definitely one which works for quite a few people. Dorothy McGrath as well, saying great interview, Ben Keneally. Yeah, definitely a brilliant interview from him there, and wishing him all the luck in the B final.
Yeah, there is a big reason why I have followed Westlife and Boyzone since my teenage years.
Well, I didn't want to jump in and jump to any conclusions, but I thought we might have heard before that you had a bit of a penchant for the Irish accent. So
Jay came in and I was literally chilling in the seat with my eyes closed. He was going, "Are you all right?" I'm just like, "Yep." Can't tell my husband that I was just enjoying listening to the Irish accent.
Shush, Jay. Ben's talking.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, bring on more Irish interviews if you can, Dom, please.
So there we go. I'll move away from that one quickly.
He's probably like young enough to be my son or something. I'm gonna then discover.
But we'll move away from that one, and we'll move on to the grids for the final B. And as Sarah, you have those ones, I shall pass over to you so that you can work your magic with those.
So speaking of the Irish, I'm going to start. Our B final grid pole man is Ryan Woolsey, 940. Followed by Sean Jacqueline, Sean 11. It was Sean Jacqueline. You see, I knew these things, didn't I? Followed by the lovely man we've just heard. Very polite, very gentle man. We've just heard Ben Keneally, 210. We've then got Stuart, 931. Followed by Scotty, 78. We've then got Ashley Shaw, 32, and another Irishman, Alan Christie, 959. They're everywhere tonight, aren't they? How lovely. Englishman, Craig Durrant, 84, is followed up by Fawkes, 46. And we've then got Jones Racing 4. Is it Ollie? Is it Daddy Carl? We still don't know. Then we have Lucas, 24, followed by Charlie Aylwood, 46. We then have Danny Von Ruyen, 47, definitely not English, definitely not Irish, one of our European gentlemen, followed by another Irishman, Johnny Hammond, 50, Englishman Crasher Karim, 66, and Finley Kiwi Junior, 74. Jordan Vovincourt, 122, is followed by Johnny McCoy, 148. We've then got the final three on our grid, Neil Grattan, 19, Yannick Kilansky, 193, and Lewis Pine, 332.
So, We are all set and ready for our 25 lap B final race. There's a lot of love for Ben in the Facebooks, which is good to see. Ronan O'Brien, one of the other drivers, getting in there, and Johnny Keneally as well. Dorothy McGrath saying he is Sarah, so I'm guessing that was in response to your "he's probably young enough to be my son" comment. So, anyway, yeah, we'll move swiftly on, and as the guys are starting to line up, we'll pan over so that we can watch some live action, so that Sarah can go and take a cold shower and have a relax for a couple of minutes.
I'm fine, honestly. I'm an old lady now. Now I've hit 40, so I've just got to pull myself together.
She's fine, she says. She's still giddy, bless her. So, but Dorothy's saying, come on the Irish drivers/riders. Brilliant. Embrace the riders. Not physically, Sarah. No, leave them alone.
Yeah, I don't think you're helping at this point.
Yeah, listen, I'm a married woman.
So, we're heading into Final B. So it's going to be interesting to see what comes of this one. And as we start to wrap up the season, obviously we've got the big final, which is happening. I'll tell you when should we announce that? Should we announce that after the A final? Do we think?
I don't know. Maybe after this race. It just depends on what drama we've got to discuss. Fingers crossed this will be a hotly contested race. It is obviously only the one position going through to the A final, but if not, I think I'll leave that to you, Gav. You're the one who's running this show. I'm only here representing Speedway TV. I don't do that.
So
I'm but a humble pundit.
We'll let these guys make their way round and get ready to start your B final for this evening. But yeah, as we start to wrap up on this season, it's going to be interesting to see what people are doing after this is all over and done with. I know young Aaron McGrath has been putting some test laps in a Mercedes GT3 car, as he is going to be racing a Spa 24 race, which will be a bit of a change of scene from what we're doing here at the moment. There's a lot more different corner directions.
Gav. So are you.
Well,
You're
so am I, and so
there.
is Jay. Yeah. So we're competing in a 24-hour race on iRacing, and that's going to be on the 11th of this month. So if you get particularly bored and want to watch us trying to drive round for a day straight, then feel free to come and drop by either my Twitch channel or Jay's Twitch channel. You'll be able to find those in the Discord, and you can watch us trying to keep the car out of a wall for 24 hours straight, which is going to be harder for me than most, but that's a different story.
You both work nights, so I think you'll be fine.
So the drivers are all lined up and they're getting ready. I can hear Jay just marshalling them into their final positions. Ryan Woolsey up front with Sean Jacklin alongside him. It'll be interesting to see what happens. Niall McFerrin is not in this race. He's going to be in the A final, so there's lots of different people who I think could be in with a shout of taking victory this time round. And away they go.
And we're off.
Good
Already.
Start. Wolsey, Sean Jacklin, definitely the big protagonist who's going to challenge him tonight. Good clean start from that front three.
Stuart Hammond as well in that 931 car is definitely staying within touching distance, although Ryan Woolsey does seem to be pulling a couple of car lengths on the cars behind him.
It's the first time we've really mentioned Wolsey tonight. Always done lucky there to miss the spinner, who was right in the middle of the track.
That was Johnny McCoy, I think, who was sideways across the track there, managed to reverse and get out of everyone's way. Beyond that, it seems to have settled down quite nicely so far. There doesn't seem to be any huge incidents, touch wood. Dorothy saying thanks, I'm finding out something new even on here. Aaron never tells me anything. Oh!
Oh, I got Jacklin up. Jacklin up on two wheels. Ashley Shaw's capitalised, but both Stuart and Sean have backed off. A little bit of a contact between the two, I would assume.
And that's let Ryan Woolsey pull a quite nice gap. There's nearly 3 seconds now that he's ahead of Ashley Shaw in second.
this race being that one position, all about first place. 2-second gap is pretty commanding in this early stage. We're not even into double digits in the laps. 25 lap final. Yeah, it's going to be a long time before I think we see anyone challenging Wolsey, if at all. He's fastest man on the track, as you can see in the bottom right-hand corner, with a 14.2.
So we can see the sort of second place pack, if you like, ahead of us here. Ashley Shaw in that orange car just disappearing around the corner ahead of us. We've got Stuart Hammond and Sean Jacklin in the 11 car. I think they're just making their way past the lapped car now. We're riding on board with Craig Durrant, I think the sole driver of a Mini now. We did have a couple of Minis at the beginning of the season. I think it's just Craig now running the Mini.
Still disappointed we only got one very brief appearance of Jordan Larson and that Corrado, but oh well, it's not to everyone's taste, clearly.
Well, maybe it'll make an appearance for the grand final for you. You definitely couldn't miss that, the colour that was, bright pink. It's all looking like things have settled down a little bit this race.
Yeah, John may have just been given a warning by the admins just to keep things clean. Obviously, everybody wants to see a nice clean race and no mayhem going on, or banger racing, as some of our followers have pointed out from time to time.
It's good close racing going on in the mid-pack, but once again it is looking like it's going to be still looking pretty much like it's going to be Wolsey's race at this moment in time. Ashley Shaw's made some gains, but it hasn't broken Wolsey's fastest lap.
Well, if we have a look, as I think this is Finley Q comes round here with Johnny McCoy, there is Ryan Wolsey, there is Ashley Shaw, and there is Sean Jacklin. That's your top three, and as you can tell, there's probably a couple of seconds between each of them. I'm not having to rush.
I was just waiting to come in there to say, I would hazard a guess that this is probably the most spaced out race that there's been, maybe even in the whole championship.
In a long while, definitely. The cars are all, in fact, pretty much for the most part, other than that little battle towards the rear there, with QE and Johnny McCoy and John Maver in that unmarked car as well. It's probably, yeah, as you said, the most spaced out I've seen these guys in a while.
Yeah, it's not really much to go on at the moment. There's still around a 2-second gap between Shaw and Wolsey. Jacklin even further back, I'm afraid. It's not looking like it's anyone's day other than Ryan Wolsey at the moment. Yep,
he's putting in the fastest laps. As we said, it's not the fastest we've seen this evening, but he's definitely got a fair old lick of pace on him. 14.2 from Ryan Wolsey. And, I mean, that being said, he's not exactly taking his time getting round, and he's just driving very cleanly and managing to maintain that first place. And yeah, he's managing to hold between a 2.5 and a 3 second gap. So he comes round to start lap number 22, and short of something quite spectacular happening, I can see the 21st spot in the A final going to this man now that we're watching in the middle of our screen, Mr. Ryan Wolsey.
Just catching up with some more of the back markers who are being warned by the admins just to stay out of the way, obviously, as Mr. Wolsey is coming through at speed.
Now, one thing I have noticed is, and I'm trying to look for our interviewee, I haven't actually
I can tell you that he didn't make the race. He just sent me a brief little message. Sadly, Ben wasn't able to make the B final, even though he did qualify. So, unfortunate for him, but yeah, just not his day really with that incident in his first heat.
So here we go. Ashley Shaw and Ryan Wolsey finishes lap number 25. Ryan Wolsey, your victor, quite categorically. 3 seconds in the end separate him from Sean Jacklin, who it looks like actually took second place in the end. So we had a change of order behind, because I believe Ashley Shaw was second at one point in time. So Sean's managed to get his way past Ashley Shaw to pick up second place. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Sorry, I'm just prepping the final grid, so I just was doing something else. I was listening and thought I can't really comment on that, so I'm going to leave that one to Dom.
Well, he did say, correction. There wasn't any correction needed, so I didn't feel the need. Gav getting it right.
First time for everything. Well, there we go. It says Dorothy says looks like they're out for a Sunday drive on a Thursday night. Yeah, I think that was quite a sedate compared to some of the B finals that we've had across the season. In fact, I would even go so far as to say that the B finals of in some of the rounds that we've had have actually probably been the closest racing going.
Shout out from Emma Black there and Darren Black, probably related, I'm guessing. Ryan Woolsey, big thumbs up and checkered flag. So we're supporters of Ryan there.
Yep, the Woolseys, I've noticed across many weeks, have had some good support on the Facebook. So yes, Ryan is the gentleman who books his place in 21st position on for the A final, and that was a like you were about to say something, Sarah. I'm
sorry. No, I come up with my wisdom and then I hear you speak, so I refrain. So I'll let you finish before I jump in.
No. Incite your pearls of wisdom.
I was just going to say, we have also had some chat on YouTube this evening, so thank you. My old friend Snoopy has been commenting great racing throughout the evening. Also, our new man, Kai Pallage, has been a YouTube commenter. Looks like he knows a chappie called Terry Gallagher, who's also been saying excellent and well done to Kai on his success on his first race meeting with us.
So Kai, I would imagine, given his results, is going to be partaking in the A final. I don't know. I'll leave it to you and Dom to scrap over who it is that you want to read out the A final. Tell you what, how about you alternate people? That would be something different.
Oh, that might be. Hang on, let me just get it all up. That would be good. If something different, if there's something different this late on, it almost feels a bit alien to me.
Round 10. Let's spice it up a little bit.
So, I'll start them off.
Are you ready, Sarah? before Dom jumps in?
I am, yeah. I just went to post and realised that it had copied and pasted the B final grid, although a bad one does always blame his tools, doesn't he, or her tools. So, yep, start them off, and I'm just pressing copy and paste.
Well, the pole sitter, the man who's 2 heat wins tonight. Well, there's 2 drivers who actually got 2 heat wins, but the one who's drawn the pole is Ted McGrath in the 852 car.
And second place is our double winner from earlier on this evening, Kai Pallage, our new man we've just been talking about in 876. I really hope I'm saying your last name right there. I just thought I'd spice things up a bit there.
So, with the 3rd place position, we've got Snoopy MSMG of Peter McCrate in the 846 car.
And then Martin Munchies, who is a regular commentator as well as being a regular racer, so a busy man always of a race evening. In the 91 is 4th.
5th position is the man who has a lot of support behind him this evening, especially after that 5th heat. It's Jason Loosemore in the SA15 car.
And another successor with some great results from this evening and coming through from the back, Adam Cochran 434.
The man looking to wrap it all up tonight. I think it may already be done, but hard to tell with out seeing all the points updated to how they are now. It's Noel McFerrin in the 910.
You realise we're going to be even busier next week, don't you, Dom? Because we're going to have to keep the championship up to date as the evening goes on next week. Anyway, just putting that out there as an idea. So we have Wilkes 111 following Mr. McFerrin.
We then have Blair Robertson in the 835 car, last week's dominant winner.
And then we have Potter 79.
Following him, we've got Rapid Roy in the 36 car.
Then we have Barry Casey 961.
Ronan O'Brien follows him in the 715.
Followed by David Ryan, who's had some great results again this evening in 30.
And then we've got Aaron McGrath in the 57.
Following Aaron is Turner 447.
Then it's Mr. Popular from the Discord, and fourth place finisher in his first heat is John Freeman in the 61.
Following Dom is Ricky Slater, a regular in our superstar drivers, in the 102.
In the penultimate grid position, we've got Daryl. So not penultimate. I say that like we haven't had a B final. The penultimate person who got into the A final on merit, we've got Daryl Walsh in the 160.
And a celebrating Jason Q, QE174, happy to have finally made an A final. He is the last of, as you say, the merited drivers who got in there from their earlier results.
We're going to have to do this again next week, I think, but what I'm going to have to prepare ready for next week is the Top of the Pops theme to go in the background with you two doing it that way, because every single time there was a gap in between each of you saying a name, I just wanted to go da 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 da.
That's not Top of the Pops, that's like Radio 1 from the 60s, isn't
was it? Oh, I don't know. Possibly. Something like that.
I know where I recognise it from now, but I don't want to sound like an old man mentioning it. Considering I'm only 22, it would almost be humiliating for me to say where I hear it.
Well, wherever it's from, you know what I mean. That's the...
So go on then. Finish off our grid then, Dom. Our 21st man and our B final winner was...
Ryan Woolsey with that convincing performance in the B final that takes him to the back of the grid for the A's.
Okay, I'm just going to add these onto YouTube, so be with you in a second.
So, I think we'll go for something a little different to show on the main screen right now. We are riding on board with our B final winner. So we're on board at the moment with Ryan Woolsey, and you get to see what the drivers will see if they win the B final and manage to book themselves a place at the back of the grid in the A final. Now, the cars that are on the front are half a lap round. That's quite a daunting sight if you're in here to think if you won't have your heart set on victory in the A final. That's a lot of cars to get past.
No different to if you're the Saturday night winner at Speed Weekend, getting on the back of that grand final World Championship grid on the Sunday.
Very true. Very true indeed. And you can hear the revs climbing, or us lot can. I know Sarah and Dom can't because they can't hear the sound, unfortunately. But they get underway, and Ted McGrath comes round for the first time in the lead, with Kai Palage in second.
No real change at the front early on. Adam Cochran, though, he's made his move and he's got up to third past Snoopy, who's actually suddenly just dropped out. I'm not sure if there's an incident or something, but he's no longer in the third place where he originally was. Cochran, McFerrin and Loosemore follow the top two.
So we look back.
We've lost Martin Monkjuice by the looks of it. It looks like the server threw him out just as we were going to the grid. He's absolutely gutted. His first A final and this happens, he's put.
Yeah, there's Snoopy a lap down now already. Something clearly not right with him. Oh, and that's Kai. Kai going wide, was it? Yes, it was. Our man who has been dominant in his heats along with Ted McGrath, he's gone wide and has dropped down to fourth behind Cochran and McFerrin and now Loosemore.
Clip the inside curb coming round this corner here, and Adam Cochran and Niall McFerrin definitely churning their way through the grid.
Love that camera angle, just seeing how close they get to the tyres. There is Ted McGrath looking very pretty in the lead, but Cochran and McFerrin pretty much following up line astern or going around the outside for some lap cars. That's not really where you want to be. Get up the inside there, Ted, and I'm sure life will be a lot easier.
There's some gentle rubbing going on there, just trying to get the better of their fellow competitors.
John Freeman moving out wide. I tell you what, that could come into play a little bit there as he tucks in behind Ted McGrath. Adam Cochran and, although he moves out the way actually. I say he does.
I wouldn't say that.
I said that and then he took a little nudge there.
That wasn't as friendly as I thought it was going to be. He looked like he was actually going to try and make a move on McGrath around the outside. He carried a lot of speed. But it just, I don't know what it was about, but very close racing between the back markers and the leader, and now at the top three, pretty much throw a blanket over all three of them, less than a second separate them.
So we can see that top three. In fact, is that the top four, or is Darryl Walsh? Darryl Walsh is a lap down now. But you can see those top three. We're riding on board with Jason Loosemore. Sitting in fourth place, he's doing quite nicely for himself. And in fact, he seems to be gaining on that leading pack as well.
McFerrin, the fastest man on track. That's almost, I don't have to say that. Whenever he's racing, he always seems to be the fastest. Not his quickest time of the night, though. He's set times that are 14 dead, or around that, but 14-1 for now. Loosemore looking pretty quick and appears to be gaining on the leaders. Ted McGrath sliding around at the front.
So here we go, let's ride on board with Niall McFerrin. You saw him when we were back on board with Jason Loosemore. He was trying to look for any possible way to find past Adam Cochrane. He saw him going left, looking around the outside, trying to cut back on the inside. And these guys all look literally running nose to tail.
This is a fantastic race for the lead, it has to be said. Ted McGrath doing a good job, despite what appears to be quite a slidey car, an unstable car at that.
And Adam Cochrane getting slidey there as well.
Cochrane and McFerrin both sliding around a little bit, and just so close. The margin for error is so thin.
Now McFerrin's going to make a look up the inside this time.
What a great view that was, just looking at the back of Adam Cochrane's, the back of his car, and a great shout out to one of his sponsors there as well.
I think McFerrin's completed the move off the corner there. It looked as if it was a rather convincing exit, and yes, he has. He's now second.
So let's look through the rest of the top 10. We've got Ted McGrath up in first, Niall McFerrin second, Adam Cochrane in third, Jason Loosemore holding on to fourth, Kai Pallage has dropped down to fifth, Adam Turner in the 447 car in sixth, Blair Robertson in seventh, Potter 79 in eighth, Ronan O'Brien in ninth, and Ricky Slater rounding out your top 10.
Important to just something to point out. Ricky Slater now fastest man on track, so he's been really making some progress, despite what has to be said a substandard night on his part. I would usually expect him to be right at the top, but I think he's had some difficulties. I don't think he'd be particularly happy with himself. Still very close at the front though.
Very close at the front. Ricky, I think, has got himself a little bit of clear air, so he's going to be showing his speed until he latches onto the next batch of cars in front of him that he can overtake.
3 or 4 more laps, 3 more laps left, I think, to run. Ted McGrath has a huge amount of pressure building behind him with McFerrin and Cochrane. Will the cork blow, or will he manage to fend them off? It's going to be a tense couple of corners for him.
He's doing
McFerrin
well.
is doing a great job. He's attacking and defending all in the same breath.
He is, and Ted McGrath is doing a fantastic job of just covering that inside line. If he can stay in tight on that inside line, I tell you what, as Adam Cochrane goes off to the inside, he's managed to regain it and keeps the position ahead of Jason Loosemore.
Last lap now, this is going to be the fight. It's Cochrane's pretty much put himself out. McGrath is flawless night. Can he keep it flawless for this one last corner?
Noel
He
McFerrin
does.
Can't
Great stuff
quite
there.
make it.
Ted McGrath. Good win for him. Don't think they can be. Well, I don't think McFerrin can be too disappointed with not getting the win. That was a sterling performance from Ted McGrath.
Yeah, definitely. We've said time after time just what a class act Niall McFerrin is. Obviously, he's led the championship pretty much from the off, and just to withstand that amount of pressure, you've just got to take your hat off to the drive that Ted just put in.
Definitely indeed. As you said, he managed to guard that inside line. He wasn't letting anyone past, and yeah, that was huge pressure that he was under at the end. He was definitely taking a few nudges from Niall, who was just letting him know that he's there, and yeah, quite rightly celebrating. In fact, there's quite a few guys celebrating, knowing that obviously this is the last event that is going ahead until we have the grand final, which is coming on next week. There we go. What a fantastic set of finals that we've just had, both the B final and the A final. So
Definitely, it's good action this evening. That 5th heat though was just, I can't. Nothing can top that. The way that we both celebrated as Loosemore took that final corner and exited in the lead. Yeah, I don't think anything's going to be able to top that one for this tonight.
So, I will just get the clarification of the results and the top 10 for that final. But yeah, let's talk about next week, Sarah.
So, am I given the go ahead? Can we announce the grand final?
I'm
Are we
happy
good
for
to
you
go?
to.
Okay, so the grand final will be from the Staffordshire track of Hednesford.
So it's going to be a fun one. We had some good racing there earlier on in the year. Earlier on in the season. I suppose it is a year technically. But yeah,
Is the grand final behind closed doors? Asked Clive. Well, we will be there. We're a bit like Formula One, really, aren't we? We're the only one there with the cameras. Nobody actually physically there, but we will be there with the cameras.
So you can, of course, catch that live grand final. We will be showing it, and we will be broadcasting as we have done all the other events so far this season. It's yeah, it's going to be a good one to watch, and yeah, it's going to be a good way to finish this season that we've had of the online oval racing national hot rods. First things first, let's take a quick wee look at your results from the A final for this round 10 at Buxton. Ted McGrath, what a drive, holding off the man who has very much been in form this season, Niall McFerrin, who takes second place. Adam Cochrane in third, Jason Loosemore in fourth, Adam Turner in fifth, Ronan O'Brien in sixth, Aaron McGrath in seventh, and Darren Potter in eighth. Ryan Wolsey in ninth. And that man, Ricky Slater, who was definitely getting a wriggle on earlier on, rounds out your top 10 for the A final this evening. So these guys have it all to play for the final, the grand final heat that we have next week. And
I don't
yeah.
mean to kill your vibe there, Gav, but all to play for. I think I've been doing the maths.
Well,
I'm not
okay.
particularly competent on the maths, but I think Niall McFerrin has done it, and I don't think he can be beaten based on the current points. He's just been so dominant this season. Going into this, he had 238 to Adam Cochrane's 176, so it really did need to. The pendulum did need to swing in Cochrane's favour, but credit to the both, and they put in their all tonight.
I've just realised, I've just read back over the comments on Facebook why Clive mentioned whether or not it was going to be behind closed doors, because he only asks because the crowd got in the way tonight. No, I'll make sure, just on your request, Clive, I'll make sure we've got some good camera angles. I'll try and have some more inside of the corner, as those seem to be quite nice, and they get some good shots of just how close some of these guys cut it to the inside of the corners, and how close they're running nose to tail. So we'll make sure we've got some
panning though through the elbow of one of the guys with the hands on the hips. I saw sort of through the triangle shape that his arm formed.
Yeah, see, if they'd have been getting excited and thrown their hands in the air, we wouldn't have had this issue. So, but yeah, so we are getting all prepped already, and we will be here for you next week for the grand final of this season of the Online Oval Racing National Hot Rod Series. Jeez, it's flown by really quick. Very, very quick. And
I can't believe that this is 10 weeks have gone by. Thursday seems to be fridge freezer disaster night in our house, because we've had another disaster with the fridge freezer tonight. But I managed to spot it earlier on in the tea time than the first weekend, I think it was, the first evening that I came down like an hour plus late.
So I think Dorothy McGrath sums it up about as well as I could possibly want to. She said, "Brilliant job as always, drivers, admins," and then she mentions us as well. So yeah, it's always been a pleasure in the 10 weeks that we've been here, coming on and commentating on these events. We never knew it was going to be this big when we first started. The sheer interest from drivers and the absolutely fantastic support that all you guys have been showing us on Facebook, on YouTube, has been second to none. And yeah, really can't wait to bring you next week's action. And
So just an idea, and I haven't run this past to any of the admins,
Oh,
so just an
no.
idea here. So obviously when we had our issues at Northampton, back on, I think it was week 6, I believe, because the stream just couldn't happen and it had to go behind closed doors, as Clive puts it, we ran a feature. So we looked around some of the shelves, we looked inside some of the setups of the cars, and that seemed to be a real popular thing. Is there anything you regular followers or even the new followers to us would like to see us feature maybe in the grand final next week? Anything that you feel you haven't seen or that we've only briefly touched on? Maybe you can help us to format next week's show. And if there's anything you'd like us to feature more heavily or haven't seen before and you think we're missing a trick on, send us your comments and we will try our very best to put it together. Sorry, Gav, I've just put far more pressure on you and Tads for next week, haven't I? So I do apologise in advance for that one.
No, that's no problem whatsoever. I'll quite happily take that. And yeah, no, that's a cracking idea there from Sarah. So yes, if there is anything that you guys would like to see us include in the broadcast for next week, just make it known to us. You can either leave a comment on the Facebook video, you can leave a comment on the YouTube. Clive wants more in-car camera shots. Now, Clive, do you want ones with somewhat poorly animated drivers, or are you... oh, here we go. Dorothy, hang on. I've just seen the next one below that.
Oh, you haven't seen me drive, Dorothy. I think that they would kick me out the server before we even got round to the grid.
Dorothy wants to see 3 commentators driving on the track.
Oh dear. I mean, yeah, a keyboard, I'd give it a go. I think it might be watching me slither around more than some of the... Oh, yeah, if we were on wet, I think I'd do better.
Well, tell you what, I'm sat behind my wheel at the moment. I'll see if I can sort something out with the admins so that we can have a little bit of a fun race. I might go up against Noel McFerrin if I get, I don't know, a 3 or 4 lap lead. So, well, that's what I should do actually.
You can fly your plane over the top and give us another view there, Gav.
So you could be like those. You could be like those aggregate races where they let slower cars go off first. We can just do it with slower drivers. So I can go off 4 laps before. You've got a wheel, so I assume you'll be quicker. You can go off 3 laps before, and then we let McFerrin go off, and then he'll catch us by the end, and it should be the closest finish.
It should be one of those ones where we're all literally side by side as we go over the finish line.
Exactly.
Hey, let's just throw it all out there. Let's just do a Le Mans start.
Okay, all right. I've got a wireless headset, so what, you want me to run in from outside the house and jump into my rig and drive?
Yeah, I've got a wireless one too, so I'll run in the room and I don't know, do a little dance or something. Of course, there's no cameras here, so you won't be able to laugh heavily at me.
That's not fair. I'm on wire. I can't run. I can do laps. I can do laps of about the 6 foot radius around me, and that's about it.
Well, it sounds like you've
Just
got,
sing Baby Shark
an
or
advantage
something.
then.
Just sing Baby Shark. That'll be the entertainment, Dom.
So, guys, all jokes aside, we'll try and do something a little bit special and a little bit different for our last event for this evening. But as always, it has been an absolute pleasure having you here and being able to entertain you. You know where you can find us. We're on the YouTubes, we're on the Facebook, and of course we are broadcasting live on Speedworth TV. It's been absolutely fantastic having Dom on board with us, and as you all should know, if you don't already, if you're missing your fix of real racing action, then definitely make sure you head over to Speedworth TV. They've got an absolutely huge archive of footage over there that you can quite happily procrastinate over for several hours, watching some real racing. And of course, they are now looking at live streaming the upcoming National Hot Rod event, which will be at Ipswich. Is it this Saturday? Is this Saturday, isn't it?
Yeah, this Saturday. Yep.
I have a very busy itinerary. I was going to say this is the first of my warm ups. So I'm actually appearing on a banger stream tomorrow with my good pals at Caged, and then I have the real thing with the open practice session, 40 sessions of cards, all sorts of formulas going around Ipswich. I'll be there with my colleagues James Zanodakis and Graham Woodward, looking to make the most of the day. I've also got lots of the team converging on the stadium. We're trying to test out as much as we can before the big live spectacle that will be the 12th of July, the first meeting back.
Going to that, Carrie Taylor, I think, chimed in with a comment earlier on. With the championship coming to an end, will we be seeing any guest appearances of Gav and Sarah on Speedworth TV? Well, maybe if I happen to see Dom in the pit somewhere, then I might dive up behind him and try and distract him while he's trying to be all professional on Speedworth TV. We'll see.
Well, I definitely know that Jay will be at Foxhall. We've already discussed this one, so I will try and do something with Jay on this coming Saturday. I don't know, because it's all behind closed doors. Unless you're a +1, Gav, I don't know whether I'll see you. Same, likewise, Sarah. But I'm sure we'll meet up at some point at a meeting in the future, and we'll all have a good laugh. And I'll possibly film a feature. It'd be nice to see you guys on the channel.
Definitely.
Yeah, definitely be nice to all meet up in person. Well, obviously, I'll see Gav regularly over at our house, but it'd be nice to see you, Dom, in person. I will be at home looking after the children so that my man can go and play with the 152 National Hot Rod.
So we'll leave it there for the moment, guys. As we said, any feature requests or anything that you have for next week, please feel free to let us know on the Facebook or in the Discord if you are a member of the Discord. And once again, it's been fantastic to have you entertain a great night of racing, and we can only look forward to even more in a week's time. So,
Don't
from
forget our
myself,
adverts, Gav, before we disappear.
beat me to it. Wouldn't even let me get his words out.
A message from Sarah Austin regarding the fun day. Cue Sarah.
2 till 4, Sunday afternoon. Get your wives, your children, your family and your friends to join in on your sign-on. So this is your chance for your family and friends, your children, as I've just mentioned, to get in the server and have some fun. So this is our opportunity for our little ones to come and see what all you grown-ups are doing all through the week. The server will be opening for the Hednesford track in a few minutes. Then I just need to get some clarification over what is happening with regards to booking in for next week. I'm looking at my husband to see whether it's points scored to date, or are we booking in? I'm just going to get that answer. So chat amongst yourselves for a minute.
Ooh.
Oh dear, I wasn't planned for this.
I
was going to say it would be brilliant if we had all the meeting winners from before. And all that. So although we've had a few that have left and gone since, I think it would be great to have everyone here for that one last meeting. So the Willises, getting McFerrin here again. He's only missed a few weeks, and that's been down to work. So credit to him. Cochrane, Turner, Slater. All the guys that have been with us winning throughout week after week. It'd be great to have one big final clash with all the big boys that have scored the most points. I think it would have to do it off the top 40 base and see what their availability is, and see if we can get a real good evening of racing under our belt for the last week at Hednesford.
Dorothy says superstars at the front next week. I wouldn't possibly have anything to do with young Aaron being a superstar now, would it, by any chance? No.
Well, actually...
I can confirm, or this is what I've just been told. So the top 60 point scorers of the Spring Summer League will be given the opportunity to race first. If we don't have 60 drivers, or the top 60 drivers available to us, the remainder of the available bookings will then be thrown open to any other to come and join.
So there we go. You heard it here first. So you know that you can expect our top 60 point scorers. So that does mean you probably get to see a little bit of what you want there, Dom. So if we can get hold of the Willises, we can get those guys involved as well, as they'll definitely be sitting within the top 60 in the points. But
just quickly going back to that comment you make, though, about superstars being at the front. If that's the case, it'll be superstars everywhere, because some of the guys we've had pass through this league during the time we've been running have been fantastic. So I'm just so excited if that's the way it goes. If we have a full grid of class act drivers, it will be one of the best things I've ever seen on R Factor.
So there we go. We've got ideas aplenty for next week. We're going to go away now, and we're going to try and turn some of these ideas into something of a reality, so that we can have some fantastic viewing for you for the final week of this season. It has been an absolute pleasure, and as always, it's been an absolute pleasure being here with Sarah and Dom this evening. So from all of us, I'd like to wish you a very happy week, and we'll see you in a week's time when we embrace our grand final at Hennersford.